It's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the President of the Republic receives the letter of receipt from 8 new ambassadors for the international scene. Several wounded in Fiji attack Welcome to our newsroom. New ballot ambassadors accredited to our countries. This morning, the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, the credentials of the new ambassador resident in Djibouti, Mr. Abdulaziz Mohammed Ibrahim, during the hearing that traditional follows each credential presentation ceremony. The new ambassador of Ethiopia, in his respective address, said that he would work to strengthen the bilateral relations between our two countries. Djibouti and Ethiopia have developed, he said, Djibouti and Ethiopia have developed excellent relations that have paved the way for the economic integration of the two countries. After him, it was the turn of the ambassador of Belgium, Mr. François Dumont. He stressed that it was a privilege to strengthen relations of friendship and good understanding between the two countries. Further, he congratulated President Guelleh for his visions on development for Djibouti.
Les lettres de rappel de mon prédécesseur, l'ambassadeur Didier Nagant de Chênes, après l'accomplissement de sa mission auprès de votre Excellence. Ce sera pour moi un privilège de pouvoir renforcer les relations d'amitié existant entre nos deux pays. Permettez-moi aussi, Excellence, de vous transmettre à cette occasion les meilleures salutations de notre souverain, le roi des Belges, Philippe.
After that, it was around the new ambassador of the Czech Republic, Mr. Pavel Mikes, to hand over the credentials. During the audience, Ambassador Pavel said to the President, Ismail Guelleh, gave him the congratulations of the President of the Czech Republic, Mr. Milos Zeman. The diplomat then reiterated to the head of state the strong will of the Czech authorities led the groundwork for bilateral cooperation between the two countries. In turn, this time the President received the new ambassador of Austria, Mr. Roland Hauser. In his respective address, the diplomat appreciated the hospitality and the warm welcome that was reserved. He later emphasized establishing cooperative relations with the Republic of Djibouti. Just after the head of state, Ismail Omar Guelleh, received Ambassador of Guinea, Conakry, Mr. Gaussou Touré, after an exchange with the President of the Republic. I have the honor to convey, said the diplomat, the best wishes of my President, Mr. Alpha Condé. He later praised the Republic's number for his vision. The Republic is number one for his visions, but also for his leadership.
Par la même occasion, permettez-moi de vous remettre les lettres de rappel de mon prédécesseur. Par ailleurs, votre frère m'a chargé personnellement de vous transmettre ses salutations fraternelles et de vous dire toute son admiration pour les avancées que vous faites faire à votre pays depuis que vous êtes à la tête de la République de Djibouti. Un pays qui assure la stabilité dans la sous-région. Il espère également collaborer avec vous dans le cadre de l'Union africaine et de la Oumma islamique au sein de l'OCI. Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
After the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, received the new ambassador of Great Britain, Mr. Alstrain McPhail, CGMOB, the English diplomat transmitted the warmest and most cordial greetings of His Majesty Queen Elizabeth II to the President of the Republic, Mr. Alster, transmitted during the interview that followed the receptions of his credentials, the messages of friendship and finally, the President received the new ambassador of Canada, Mr. Antoine Chevrier. In this few words, he said that he was pleased to serve his country here in Djibouti and to work to strengthen relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries.
Les lettres de rappel de mon prédécesseur et les lettres qui m'accréditent au nom de la très honorable Julie Payette, gouverneur général du Canada, comme ambassadeur extraordinaire et plénipotentiaire du Canada à Djibouti. Merci.
After Canada, it is Tunisia, Mr. Qais Kaptani, that the head of state has received. In this word, the new ambassador highlighted the importance that his country is attached to cooperation with Djibouti. On behalf of my president, Mr. Beji Kaid SFC, and on my behalf, express my admiration for the remarkable achievement accomplished in Djibouti in favor of your foresight and your vision, as Mr. President said, Ambassador Qais Kaptani. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed received this Monday, March 18th, in the Hall of Honors of the Prime Minister's Special Advisor to the Prime Ministers of Japan, Kentaro Sonora. The Ambassador of Japan to Djibouti, Mr. Koji Yonetani, introduced to the Prime Ministers Mr. Kentaro Sonora and the strong delegations that accompanied him, and that was composed of advisors in the cabinet of the Japanese Prime Minister, as well as senior executives from different ministries such as Foreign Affairs, Economy, Trade and Industry, Infrastructure, Tourism and Transport, Defense, represented by senior Japanese Coast Guard On the Prime Minister's side, the Secretary General of the Prime Minister, Mr. Naguib Abdullah Kamil, and the advisors to the Prime Ministers attend the meeting. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed introduced Kentaro Sonora and the delegation and remained down to the seniority and depth of friendship and bilateral cooperation between the two countries, which dates back to the early 80s, 20 at corporations that has become mature, non-binding and defined by subsidies, thanks to the remarkable work of the teams of the Japanese embassy in Djibouti. During this meeting, Mr. Abdul Qadir Mohammed took the opportunity to express to his distinguished guests the satisfaction and gratitude to the government and peoples of Djibouti for the cooperation and commitment of Japan in the financing of several projects and grant donations of equipment for civil protection of Djibouti Highway Office. In addition, the Prime Minister underlined the will of Djibouti to prospect new mechanisms of impulse of the Japanese investment in Djibouti, the wish of the Djibouti government to see the private sector Japanese come to invest in Djibouti, not without recalling the adhesion of Djibouti to the Transparency Agreement of the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and its membership of the BIRD. In this regard, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed mentioned the establishment of several measures facilitating private investment in Djibouti, the improvement of the financial guarantee, and the best conditions to improve the regulatory framework of procedures through a one-stop shop. The Minister of Equipment Transport, His Excellency Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Hilm, received today, Monday, March 18th, in his apartment, a delegation of the Japanese Coast Guard led by the Vice Admiral Takahiro Okushima, also present at this meeting, where the commanders of the Djiboutian Coast Guard, Colonel Wais Omar Bogore, the Secretary General of the Ministry, Mr. Said Nuh Hassan, and other officers of the Japanese Coast Guard. Discussion is focused on the close collaborations between the two Coast Guards, and especially on the successful piracy transfer exercises. Cooperation between the two Coast Guard concerns the fight against piracy, capacity building of personnel, as well as other technical file. The minister welcomed the collaborations of the two Coast Guard and wished to strengthen the friendship between Djibouti and Japan. The Minister of Muslim Affairs, Culture, Waqf, Mr. Momin Hassan Barre, received this Monday in his office a large Moroccan delegation led by the Moroccan ambassador to Djibouti with residence in Addis Ababa, Mr. Naza Alawi Mohammed. The meeting was attended by General Directors of the Diwan Zakat Property, Mr. Ilmi Nur Jama, the Director of Muslim Affairs, Mr. Al-Saleh Ahmed Abdallah. During these meetings, Minister Momin Hassan Barre and the Moroccan diplomat discussed the relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries, as well as ways and means to strengthen them further. This meeting was an opportunity for the Moroccan ambassador to highlight the importance of the links between Djibouti and Morocco, which she said are two countries very close because of their membership of the same continent and same religions and one languages. The Minister Delegate for Decentralization is Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, received today at his cabinet the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Republics of Djibouti, Mr. Zhou Ruichang. During this meeting, which is a part of the Chinese diplomat courtesy and contact visit, the minister presented to the interlocutors the activities undertaken is underway and are planned by his department to meet the expectations of the population. This in line with the roadmap drawn by the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, which he said to his interlocutor a great importance to decentralization is in the context of his new mandate at the head of the country started in 2016. The minister expressed to his interlocutor the wishes of his department and the local authorities in his charge to benefit from China's experiences in the field of decentralization. In turn, the Chinese diplomat thanked the minister for the clarity of his presentation, which he said released a deep commitment on his part to fulfill his mission. Djibouti celebrates, like the rest of the world, the International Women's Day. Government policy is to integrate women and activate through the Ministry of Women and Family that implement women empowerment projects, giving them the chance of to be masters of their destinies. Listen to the report.
Djibouti celebrated, like the rest of the world, the International Women's Day. Government policy is to integrate women in activities through the Ministry of Women and the Family that implement women empowerment projects, giving them the chance to be masters of their destinies. We have selected 3 different women, each of whom is engaged in a specific activity who is gradually developing in the sector. These 3 women, however, are models to follow, and they all have the origin of their initiative and wishes. Hasna Ali Abdo is a 33-year-old mother of 2 boys. Even though her main activity is as a single widow, she made art her passion. So she devotes her free time to make objects of decorations, as she explained it to us. She said, at first, I noticed that we were waiting for the order of the decoration from the outside. One day I wanted to give a gift to my best friend for her wedding. She liked the vases, but we could not find them on the market. Ordering would take a lot of time, so I was inspired by the internet and I make my own vase. That's how the passion is born. And then gradually I learned the techniques to make decorative objects for the home, from the shells and pearls. My important customers are tourists, but I also show my product on the occasion of major events. I also launched my small shop on Facebook, and interested customers call me very often through the internet. Asrar Mahfouz Zaid shares the same passion. This 44-year-old mother sees art as a family passion. She learned the art of decoration very young, including following her grandfather on wedding sites, a passion that she will eventually embrace and make a career out of it. My grandfather was making decorations for weddings and ceremonies. I was looking at him very closely, she confides. In addition to weddings, I started in the interior decoration of the houses, the gift papers and cards, she says. My husband and all my family help me a lot and support me in what I do. Always in the arts, but in another form of expression. Uba Hamid Hassan is a painter. Already to the colleague, she was distinguished and known for her designs. Graduate in biology and geology in 2008, she practices as a teacher, but painting remains her passion. Thus, Uba Hassan has made several exhibitions, and especially during the International Day of the Artist on the occasion of the International Women's Day, but also privately the Hotel Acacia, where 20 of her paintings were exposed. I've been drawing and painting since I was a child. I'm dreaming of being a great artist one day, and God realized this solid dream through the Ministry of Women and Family and the UNFD. It is with their support I could expose several times. I participated in the memorial ceremony of International Women's Day by exhibiting my expertise on one of the different booths, highlighting the progress of women. To highlight these efforts, the Ministry of Women and Family has set up several women's empowerment projects, objectives to support them in their initiative.
The director of the National Disability Agency has organized towers accompanied by Dr. Armagum Parsa Roman from Mauritius. Mauritius' former Minister of Education and his staff. During a week-long working visit, Dr. Armagum Parsuraman first met with State Secretary for Social Affairs, Ms. Muna Usman Aden, in her office. Then they went to the Ministries of Women and Family and were received by the Minister Momina Hamad Hassan. To finish, the delegations went to the Ministries of National Education and Vocational Training. Welcome to arrivals by Minister Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud. The aim of these towers is to promote the rights of people with disability in society, in health, education, and finally in working life. The young agency ENPH want to be the voice of a long marginalized population by promoting their integration into Djiboutian society and all plans. And these branches visit today figures elsewhere in their different partners. A delegation of Djiboutian athletes participates since March 14th Olympic Special Summer Games in United Arab Emirates. Welcomed by our diplomat at their arrival. Djiboutian athletes are famous in several sport disciplines. Two Djiboutian athletes are famous in these competitions. Miss Filsan Noor Roble, who set the tones by winning a silver medal in the women's 200 meter. Among the men's, the athlete Ali Mohammed Gas was third in the 200 meters and won the bronze medal. The athletes will participate in other competitions that take place until March 2021. The Djiboutian delegation is to the World Game Specialist Olympics is composed of 8 people. It is led by its president Ali Mohammed Ali and accompanied by Dr. Abdurrahman Moumin Duxiye, pediatricians, physicians, and Lieutenant Colonel of the National Gendarmerie, 3 athletes, 2 men and 1 young girls, and 2 staffs. And a coach participate in the 219 Dubai World Games. 179 countries are participating in this great Olympic sport event. Our highlight motivate athletes will participate in 5 other competitions with the wish of the new medals. As part of preparations for the International Day Against Autism celebrations on April 4, the Association is to Overcome Autism in Djibouti organized Saturday's afternoon at the Fahad complex in Balbala, a day of sports activity to support children with autism. The members of executive committee of the associations and the parents of the achieved children have participated in the event. Autism is a neurobiological disability that appears from early childhood. The causes of autism are unknown and there is no cure. Children with autism have difficulties in social interactions, communications, and their behaviors. This day was dedicated to helping days be devoted to helping those people living with this disability, all united to fight this neurobiological disease. The Young Djibouti Respect collectives in partnership with the State Secretariat for the Youth and Sport organized at Neighborhood 7, the CDC, the 12 conferences closing the caravan to raise awareness about the consequences and the danger of sharing with the tribalists on social networks. On the theme, do not insult on social networks. Objective of the collectives are projects of debate between young people and adults of the time. Do not insult on social networks. Clearly, it is both to promote exchanges and intergenerational reflections, the phenomenon of insults, and stimulate the spirit of cohesion and solidarity among Djiboutian citizens. Hence, the double dimensions of this project to create a climate of civil harmony and national unity. The youth group did not fail to extend its heartfelt thanks to the CDC directors and the State Secretary for Youth and Sport for support in carrying out this project. An important delegation is led by the president of the regional council, Mr. Omar Hussein, went to Yaigori, a locality located in the sub-prefectures of Adailu, 113 kilometers from the city of Tujura. Yaigori is a historical sector and very rich in hydraulic resources. The delegation was welcomed by high dignitaries of the villages of Asa Gaila. The president visits several sites, and especially a site rich in water resources such as natural sources and two wells characterized by fresh waters and salt water. The latter can give salt residues that can be exploited and marketed. The delegation held a meeting with the populations whose purpose was to note the grievance among these, taking into account the valorization and marketing of salt. The inhabitants also asked the delegations and introductions to agriculture, to plant the fruit and vegetables to their self-sufficient, and reinforcement in education was also mentioned. The president of the regional council responded positively to their request by promising everyone his full availability to assist them to develop their village. The president of the regional council, Mr. Omar Hussein, explained in his address that he appreciates the welcome that was reserved from him by the peoples of Yaigori, and he thanked them. The president said that the objectives of this visit was based on the policy of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Gelle, which is the rapprochement between the regional council with his fellow citizens. He also explained that the interest of the visit was to make the state of places and see the needs of the population. The meeting, he asserted, lead to a complaint that was scrupulously received by his team, and he reminded that there are many opportunities in this village to develop it because water is in abundance. As part of the National Women's Week, the UNFT, in collaboration with the Minister of Women and Family, celebrated the International Women's Day at Ali Adde Refugee Village. As usual, the UNFT, under the leadership of Her Excellency the First Lady and the President of the UNFT, celebrate these days with all women living in Djibouti, including refugee villages. These days saw the participation of a large delegation of UNFT led by the program coordinator, Ms. Ruqya Ali Jama, representatives of the Ministries of Women and Family, the executive of Secretary of ONAX, Hussein Hassan Darar, the sub-prefect of Ali Adde Shaban Daher Musa, UNHCR office chief, and several other partners of the UN systems and international organizations operating in this village. The inhabitants of Ali Adde, composed of women and men, elderly and people, and youth, warmly welcomed the guests. The day was elaborated by song, theaters, and women's rights, visits to exhibitions and craft stalls, followed by the delivery of a basic kit for the pregnant women and their babies, as well as the presentations of certificates to the beneficiaries of vocational training. In the context of the protection of environment and the fight against the illegal traffic of endangered plant animal species, the officers of the Customs Brigade of the Loyadda Borders Post, led by Mr. Shahim Ali Dawood, seized 37 package of 15 kilograms each of shark's fins. This commodity was destined to an Asian country, is prohibited under the conventions on international trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. These types of merchandise on the product that come from the are subject to the prior obtaining of a license of exploitation. The General Directors of Customs and Indirect Taxes, Guled Ahmed Yusuf, congratulate the Customs officers who seized the goods. The National Gendarmerie has concentrated effort of the Territorial Competence Judicial Unit on this part of the capital in order to eradicate these scourges. With this in mind, on the days of March 16, 2019 at 11 a.m. following information is cross-checked, the gendarmes of the Sheikh Musa Brigade intercept a taxi type vehicle in front of the East Africa Holding Complex at peak 13. During a search carried out in this vehicle, the gendarmes discovered 15 bags, each containing 15 kilo of herbs and a total of 215 cap weightings kilograms, whose market values is estimated at 5 million Djibouti franc. During this hearing, the taxi driver stated that he had transported these illicit goods from a parking lot of Ethiopian trucks to Pika 12. For the international scene, shootings left 3 people dead and several injured Monday morning in Utrecht, in the centers of the Netherlands. Reports the mayor of the city. The shooter is still on the run. The police are looking for a 37-year-old man of Turkish origin. 3 people were killed and several others wounded on Monday, March 18, during shootings in a team in Utrecht at Dutch city in the centers of the country. An anti-terrorist unit was deployed or this scene. The mayor of Utrecht announced in a video on Twitter a final assessment of 3 dead and 9 wounded. Dutch police say they are looking for a 37-year-old man from Turkey. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us.